So let's begin with the another concept, that is Zabt and Zamindars. What is Zabt and what Zamindar, that we are going to understand in this period. The main source of income available to Mughal rulers was tax on the produce of peasantry. In most places, peasants paid taxes through the rural elites, that is, the headman or the local chieftain. The Mughals used one term, zamindars, to describe all intermediaries, whether they were local headmen of villages or powerful chieftains. So here it is said that the main source of income available to Mughal rulers was the tax on the produce of peasantry. That means whatever the peasants or farmers were producing in their farm, they were taking the part of that production in the form of tax, and this was the main important source of the tax in the Mughal Empire. So, in most places, peasants paid taxes through the rural elites. So, there were some rural elites in the some areas of the Mughal Empire, and these rural elites were getting the taxes from the peasants, and they were giving it to the Mughal Empire. So the who were they basically? Who were these rural elites? They were normally the headman of the village, or they were the local chiefs or local chieftains. So the Mughals use one term for these kind of rural elites, or the people, those who are rural headmen or local chieftain. They have given one term to them, that is zamindars. You would have heard about the zamindars many times in the movies. So these zamindars were basically were not having the land, but they were having the control over it, that whatever the taxes and revenues the Mughal Empire wanted to take from the peasants, they were the intermediaries for collection of the taxes. Whether they were local headmen of villages or powerful chieftain, these were described as the intermediaries or rural elites or the zamindars who were collecting the taxes. Now, Akbar's revenue minister Todermal carried out a careful survey of crop yields, prices, and areas cultivated for a 10 years period, 1570 to 1580. On the basis of this data, tax was fixed on each crop in cash. Each province was divided into revenue circles with its own schedule of revenue rates for individual crops. This revenue system was known as Zabt. It was prevalent in those areas where Mughal administrator could survey the land and keep very careful accounts. This was not possible in provinces such as Gujarat and Bengal. So, uh, at the time of Akbar's reign, there was a revenue minister of Akbar. What was his name? His name was Todermal. What he did, he took a survey, a careful survey of crop yields. Crop yield means what? From whichever the crop, what percent of yield is coming out or production is coming out, that was surveyed by the Todermal, as well as prices and areas cultivated for a 10 years of period, right from 1570 to 1580. That means not only the crop yields, but also the prices and areas which were cultivated, and this survey was held for 10 years in between the period of 1570 to 80. On the basis of this data, that was fixed on each crop in cash. On the basis of this data, the prices and all that were fixed on each crop. Each province was divided into revenue circles. So, as you know very well, today districts are there. In one state, there are districts. Then there are the circles are also there, that are called as the talukas or tehsils or block level, that is also called that. So that time the Todermal divided each province in the revenue circles with its own schedule of revenue rates for individual crops. So for collection of the taxes, he divided the provinces into the small circles to collect the revenues, and each province was divided into revenue circles with its own schedule of revenue rates for individual crops. This revenue system was known as ZAP. So whatever the revenues were collected from the peasants after dividing these provinces into the revenue circles, he collected the tax, and this tax or the revenue was called as the Zabt. It was known as Zabt. It was prevalent in those areas where Mughal administrators could survey the land. So this revenue system was known as Zabt, and it was prevalent in most of these all those areas where Mughal administrators were able to survey the land. So where the survey was possible, from there only the tax collection or the revenue collection or the zabd, which was called, was possible. So this collection of the taxes or the survey, the survey of the production or the yield of the crop was not possible in two regions. And which regions these were? Gujarat and Bengal. In some areas, zamindars exercise a great deal of power. The exploitation by Mughal administrators could drive them to rebellion. Sometimes zamindars and peasants of the same caste allied in rebelling against Mughal authority. These peasant revolts challenged the stability of the Mughal Empire from the end of the 17th century. So what happened? In some areas, the zamindars exercise a great deal of power. So as the Mughal authority has given zamindar so much of power, so what they did, they exercise great deal of power. So they were utilizing huge power onto the people or the peasants, those who were there, and the exploitation by Mughal administrator could drive them to the rebellion. So as these zamindars, mansabdars, these Mughal administrators were exploiting these people, those who were living in these jagirs or in the land, they were becoming the rebellion of the to the Mughal empire. Means they were opposing the Mughal empire in the form of rebel. And sometimes what was happening, the zamindars and peasants of the same caste, means that time also some kind of a casteism or a kind of we can say the unity was there in the kind of casteism, we can say, but actually it was not a casteism. What was there? Zamindars and peasants of the same caste were getting allied, and they were rebelling against the Mughal authority, that they were not ready to give the taxes and all the revenue that was collected by the zamindar to the Mughal empire. And these peasant revolt challenged the stability of the Mughal empire, and these peasants, zamindars, all revolts and challenged the stability of the Mughal empire. And at the end of the 17th century, these all the things have happened. Means we can say at the end of the 17th century, the Mughal empire was started to lose the control over the peasants as well as zamindars, which were actually appointed by themselves only. So in this way, these all the things we have seen. And now we are moving further. Here, Akbarnama, Ain-i Akbari is given. Let's try to understand what was written in the Akbarnama. So Akbar ordered one of his close friends and courtiers, Abul Fazl. So Abul Fazl was one of his courtier as well as close friend, and Akbar asked him to write his history of his reign basically. So Abul Fazl wrote a 3-volume history of Akbar's reign. And what was the name of that history of Akbar Singh. It was called as the Akbarnama. The first volume dealt with Akbar's ancestors, and the second volume recorded the events of Akbar's reign. So there are two volumes of this, the first and the second. In the first volume, there is the information about the ancestors of the Akbar, and in the another volume, there is there are all the events that all happened in the Akbar's reign. There is one another volume, the third volume, that was called as the Ainai Akbari. Ainai Akbari. And in this, it dealt with the Akbar's administration. Means administration, household, army, revenues, and the geography of his empire. So in Ainai Akbari, uh, the information about the administration at the time of Mughal Empire, the Akbar's reign, household at the time of Akbar's reign, what kind of army was there at the time of Akbar's reign, how the revenues were collected, and what was the geography of his empire. It is all mentioned uh, in the third volume that was called as the Ainai Akbari. It also provides rich details about the tradition and culture of the people living in India. So, in the third volume, it was also mentioned about the culture. And it was written in details about rich tradition, the culture, and the people living in India. The most interesting aspect about the Ainai Akbari is its rich statistical details about things and diverse as crops, yield, prices, wages, and revenues. You know the what is the most important thing, interesting thing in the Ainai Akbari written by the Abul Fazl? It was about the statistical information or statistical details about things as diverse crops. There were diverse number of crops, the production that is called as the yield, prices of the crops, wages that were given to the we can say the laborers, as well as what kind of revenues were collected. All the important statistical information is given in the uh, crops, yield, prices, wages, and revenues. In this way, Ainai Akbari also we have seen. The next part is a closer look Akbar's policies. So in this point, actually, we are going to understand, or we are going to see closely about what were the Akbar's policy in his administration or in his empire, how he was treating all the people in the empire. About all this are given in this part. So a closer look to Akbar's policy we will see in the next period. Till then, thank you very much.